Hey everybody, welcome to another Wednesday discussion video. Today is a bit of a follow-up to last week's discussion video when I talked about the dream headlines that I thought needed to happen. And I got so many comments and feedback from you guys talking about the games and announcements that you wanted to see happen that I knew I had to make a sequel. So in the spirit of continuing that, let's go ahead and dive into the top headlines that you told me that you need to see happen. But before we do, just a quick heads up for everybody. Kind of wild how in my last video I was talking about how the Super Nintendo Switch, as I talked about it, needed to happen. And that was my dream announcement, was that it would be 1080p 60 or 4K 30. Well, turns out there are some rumors that some dev kits have been making their way to key developers for the Nintendo Switch 2. I think we can all rest assured that everything else on that list is probably going to happen. Maybe not, but that's the point. Don't stop dreaming, because dreams can come true as long as you continue to dream. So let's talk about some of your dream announcements, and maybe some of these are going to come true before long. A lot of people were talking about how they wanted to see a Skies of Arcadia remaster coming to the Nintendo Switch or other modern platforms, and this is a game that I've heard a lot of people talking about over the years. I still haven't played it. Originally came out on the Dreamcast, and then it was ported to the GameCube, and it seems like people kind of love both versions equally at this point. But the big problem is that, well, you can't really play either of those on modern consoles at this point, and the games are getting a little expensive if you wanted to go after the originals. So an HD port, I think, is just a pretty solid way to be with this one. Tons of people wanted an HD remaster of Final Fantasy Tactics, and I think the stage is pretty well set. We've seen Tactics Ogre get a port, we've seen a lot of strategy and tactics RPGs making headlines like the one I reviewed the other day, Arcadia and Atlas. There are so many tactics games coming out these days that it just doesn't feel right without it. Others have talked about a Vagrant Story HD remaster or even just a port at this point because it's trapped on the PlayStation 1. Not a whole lot of ways to play it at this point unless you already have the disc, but if you want to play it on modern consoles, you know, an HD port is pretty much the last thing you have going for you. And same with Xenogears, and a lot of people were talking about how if Xenogears was to get an HD port, they would want Xenogears to actually be finished in collaboration with the creator of the game. And I think that's a stellar idea. In my review of Xenogears, I kind of facetiously called Xenogears the greatest game never made, and I think a lot of that just rings true for a lot of people. Granted, there are some people who are more than happy to accept it as it is, and that's totally fine, but if we could see the original vision of this game fully implemented in an HD remaster, or even a remake at some point, would be incredible. I'm also filing this one under unlikely, but man, this one would be so good. And last but not least, for HD remasters, we just really need to see Trails in the Sky on a modern platform. It feels ridiculous to have been going through the Trails series lately, and when people ask where to start, I'm like, well, do you have a PC made in the last decade? Do you have a Steam? Are you okay with playing games on PC, or are you a console gamer? You gotta ask like 20 questions to find out, like, where are you on the scale of like playing games on console to PC, because this is such a deal breaker for so many people. It is a critically acclaimed trilogy that is trapped on PC, and honestly, it doesn't look that great. It looks fine, you know, it looks pretty retro, so if you're into retro, that's fine, but man, it could just use a little bit of that buffing treatment Trails from Zero and Trails to Azure received from NISA earlier this year. Aside from HD remakes and remasters of existing games, there's also a big theme of collections. People who just want to play these games on a convenient and easy way on their modern consoles, and I totally get that. Not everybody can have a gigantic shelf of games behind them that they can play out of the drop of the hat. There's also the value proposition of being able to play and own physical games that, you know, are just impossible to own these days otherwise, because sometimes they're just so freaking expensive. Games like Panzer Dragoon Saga is way beyond the grasp of myself and the majority of you guys watching, I'm certain. For HD collections, I guess I'm kind of double dipping with Trails in the Sky, but honestly the Soul Blazer collection would be so incredible. A collection of Soul Blazer, Terranigma, and Illusion of Gaia. That trilogy by Quintet, well, it's a loose trilogy, is one of my favorite trilogies on the Super Nintendo, and it is criminal that more people cannot enjoy these games today. especially Terranigma, which is a game that just never got released in the United States. So, man, it's so good. And that's why it needs to come out on a trilogy pack for Nintendo Switch or PlayStation 5, 4, whatever. The 4 could run it just fine. Yeah, on all modern platforms preferably. And I think Square Enix could probably do it because they did do a remaster of ActRaiser, which was also made by Quintet, so I think it's within their power. Phantasy Star is also a series that I saw a lot of people want, the quadrilogy, the saga, and I think especially number 1 would do really well with an auto mapper built in, with the first-person dungeon crawling experiences. As somebody who never got into the first-person dungeon crawling experience, I mean, I played Phantasy Star 1, but man, I made it through some of those dungeons just out of sheer luck and stubbornness. And I think an auto mapper that would help map out the dungeon as you make your way through it would make things so much nicer for people like me who just, frankly, don't have the capacity to make an accurate map as we make our ways through these games. Wild Arms collection needs to happen. Wild Arms 1, 2, 3, Ultra Code F, I think there's a 4, there's so many, and gosh, there's a 5 too, and they're so expensive. Especially Ultra Code F and Wild Arms 5. 1 and 2, though, are some of my absolute favorites. So if we don't get an HD collection of all 5 or 6 of these games, at least the PlayStation ones really need to happen because they are so gorgeous. And while we're at it, let's get a brand new translation pack for that Wild Arms 2, because that game was a little rough. People love it, I loved it, but the translation, especially featuring Liz and Ard, is mind-breakingly bad. And of course, the Xenosaga collection. Earlier we talked about Xenogears. Xenosaga was on the PlayStation 2, and it's so hard to get your hands on a copy of 2, and impossible to get your hands on a copy of 3 for a decent price. They exist, but the people who have them don't want to give them up. So I get that, though. So an HD remaster, an HD port, a collection would be so nice for so many people out there. And to be honest, the fact that I don't have Xenosaga 3 is single-handedly pretty much kept me from playing any of the Xenosaga games, which in turn has been kind of like a stopping point for me on my Xenosaga, I guess you could say, because I want to play the Xenoblade games, but I also know that I know that they're not connected, but I want to because I want to see how the game designer evolved over time. So I think it would be really great if there was a more accessible way, and you know Bandai Namco could totally do it. Have you seen the stuff they've been making lately? Bandai Namco, come on guys. And while you're at it, how about the Dot Hack original quadrilogy? That's another one that came up so often. In collaboration with CyberConnect 2, I know that Bandai Namco could do it. Come on guys. Shadow Hearts is a trilogy of games, or a saga if you want to include Koudelka, that would do so incredibly well, but for licensing and stuff, it'd probably just have to be the Shadow Hearts trilogy. I've only played the first 2, and I enjoyed them both. Great Halloween RPGs. The third one I hear kind of goes off the rails, but hey, if you're gonna do an HD collection of them all, may as well get that third weird one in there too, just cause, right? Oh man, and the Lunar series has to get an HD collection at some point. Gung Ho did an HD collection of Grandia 1 and 2, so why not Lunar 1 and 2? Or the Lunar games on Genesis, or Sega CD rather, in addition to the PlayStation remasters. That would be great. Maybe even we could get finally an official localization of like Magic School or Walking School Lunar, which sure, they're probably not the greatest games ever, but it would sweeten the pot a little bit. Come on, Gung Ho Games, what are you guys doing? You've owned game arts for so long. I want to see you doing things with them. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you, Gung Ho. Just don't do the smudge effect on this one, okay? Veering back into Nintendo territory, people are asking for a Golden Sun Trilogy HD collection on modern consoles, and I couldn't agree anymore. Same with a Mother Trilogy. I don't know why I didn't mention getting Mother 3 in my list. I think it's because I made a video somewhat recently talking about why Mother 3 will never come out in the United States, and I still kind of firmly believe that, and yes, I am still saying that in order to jinx it for everybody else's sake. Nintendo will never put out Mother 3, not in a million years. Prove me wrong, Nintendo, please. And the next set of announcements is a set of return to form kind of requests. These are the sorts of dreams where long beloved franchises kind of return to their roots. And I kind of used one of these last time talking about Final Fantasy and how it should continue on in the vein of like Final Fantasy IX. And other people kind of jumped on board with that, starting with like Paper Mario. A lot of people really love the older Mario games and want to see more Mario RPGs, but lately it looks like the newest Paper Mario ones just haven't been doing super well, and it would be really nice if they kind of got back on track. You know, we also haven't seen any new Mario and Luigi Sticker Star or anything like that because unfortunately the people who made those went under, and what we have been getting has not been sufficing. Then shifting focus over to Shining Force is a series that a lot of people really loved, the original tactical RPGs on the Genesis. That's a series that would be really great to see return to form away from like the Shining Resonance Refrain game that they put out last. It would really just be nice to see more Shining Force games returning to their roots. And again, this is another tactics RPG. Tactics games are blowing up this year. It would make so much sense for another Shining Force game to be released. Come on guys, get to it. And then finally getting into some long-awaited sequels, starting with Lunar 3 would be incredible to see, followed by Grandia 4, Lufia. The Lufia series has several entries in it at this point actually. I've only played the first. I've been sitting on a copy of Lufia 2 on my shelf for who knows how long. I need to play it. And then there was also Game Boy Color, and I think beyond that, there's a lot of Lufia that I just need to start getting through, and yeah, maybe I will at some point, but before that, let's at least get an announcement for a new Lufia game. That would be pretty dang great. A lot of people want a new Legend of Dragoon. Personally speaking, I think a prequel would be even better than a sequel. I think that the first game laid such a great groundwork for the legendary Dragoons before Dart and his entourage. I would really love to see what that looks like. And Sony, come on guys, you need some more RPGs on your systems, and I think this would be a pretty great way to achieve that. Nothing like another Final Fantasy VII killer, hey? Beyond that, let's see a new entry in the Final Fantasy Tactics series. Somebody mentioned earlier that they wanted an HD port, so why not announce both in the same go? Why not another new Chrono game? We already got a little teaser of Magus' story moving forward with the last Chrono Cross, so come on guys. I don't think it's ever gonna happen, but that's why these are dream announcements. And it would be a dream to see a new Chrono game that finally maybe sees Magus reunite with Shala, for instance. That would be so great. I would love to see a happy ending come from there. But then again, the Chrono series isn't exactly known for its happiest endings. Other people have been pining for a new Mega Man RPG, and right on the heels of the Mega Man RPG collection that they put out for Battle Network, this seems like it'd be about the perfect time to do maybe a new entry in the Mega Man Legends series, or maybe a collection, because again, expensive games, and playing them on modern platforms would be pretty sweet. These are all such incredible little announcements that I can't believe I didn't mention some of them in my own video. There's just so many, but I think that about does it for all of these announcements. What did you guys think? What was your favorite announcement from this list of dream announcements? What do you think needs to happen? Is there anything that we missed last time that just slipped through the cracks? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you on Friday for the next review. Have a great day, everybody.